I think this is for Li Jian, is also a rare opportunity for promotion. Like this in the spotlight, there aren't many opportunities for prefabricated dishes. It won't help Zibei at present, but it will be helpful to Li Jian himself. I know that Li Jian said the 20,000 yuan reward thing.
Right.
It's for restaurants without frozen food. I think Li Jian wants to use this incident to tell people something else. Let me explain the origin a little bit. I remember it was at the Centennial Hall of Peking University. I met Li Jian at a catering industry gathering, and we took on his Shinedao project. We sold Shinedao after finishing the project. To put it bluntly, to help him sell it at a better price, then he immediately switched to Shinliangji. We continued to do Shinliangji at that time. Around to 1 to 2, we made crayfish. So the idea of Li Jian's proposal is, I'm very familiar with, that is pre-cooked food. I remember we chatted on WeChat in 2021. I remember one time I guessed hard. What will it be called in the future? Which is what we call pre-cooked dishes today. When we were discussing this issue, we were actually targeting household use. Note that when we talk about to see, there will be a trend in the future. In the future, Chinese families will have more and more pre-cooked dishes. If you want to eat freshly cooked food, you have to eat in a restaurant. It's the opposite situation. Why does this situation occur? In fact, during the period from 2022 greatly stimulated China. Today we call it the pre-cooked food industry. It wasn't called that then, it was called the industrialization of catering. Xinliangji, precisely, it is a case of industrialization of catering. To understand a landing, note that these are all for the CN. I remember Xinliangji's strategy report mentioned was 4.5 hours long, which is a very long strategy report. All discussions were centered on the CN. Chinese families, especially in 2020 and 2022, in this extreme state, many people had to start cooking at home. Again, and 3 meals a day, which greatly stimulated the rise of industrialization. We also noticed that after this event, after this incident, you will find that in the stock market, the fabricated food sector has risen. The stock market is really amazing. This incident has made people understand pre-cooked food. If you are like the kitchen of Zibei, can you make it at home completely? And it can be restored to such a degree. It means that the industrialization has developed to what extent the things you see in the video are all in the supermarket. You can choose to buy, or you can choose not to buy. In this case, it actually provides many solutions for home dining. But this industry, due to the strong stimulation between 2020 and 2022, it has now become BN focused. I think this situation is a transitional one. The industrialization, the inevitable trend of the future, it mainly focuses on home use. But now it needs a transition. Even if our generation, we resolutely absorb it. Even if our parents in their 70s can still cook for us, and we can still cook for our children, you can't handle the next generation or the next one. It will definitely move towards pre-cooked dishes. A family's catering solution. For example, if you want to eat from start to finish, if every step of cooking is done freshly, you have to eat out at home. To be honest, it's hard to buy vegetables that haven't been processed. The development of society can't be satisfied. From the fields to the supermarket, directly, can't be satisfied. It must be pre-processed a little bit. Even just cleaning them, it can extend the shelf life a little bit. This is considered the freshest. So does this process definitely require cold chain? Today, let's compare the situation abroad with ours. The industrialization of foreign catering is indeed sufficient. Industrialization in restaurants, it must be fast food, right? Such as pizza or ham. For example, the pizza crust and some ingredients, they are made and stored in the fridge. For a serious restaurant, if we often go abroad, eating out is very expensive. That's how they make their money. Making a hamburger at home is so easy. You can buy almost everything. Basically, you don't even need to light a fire. Just heat them up and stack them together. But if you go to a good restaurant to eat, it will be cooked from start to finish for you. The future of China will be the same. For example, when we buy and cook at home, we may use more prefabricated food. You can consider buying some stocks of prefabricated food. But we need to feel the pain of Li Jian. You know that the epidemic has promoted the rise rapidly in this industry. But after the pandemic has declined, Chinese people, I still go home as long as there are old people, or have a maid at home, or have time themselves. I definitely don't use pre-cooked food. After all, we haven't reached the the cognitive level of the next generation. So actually, Xinliangji also needs to be understood by everyone. I think this is for Li Jian. Is also a rare opportunity for promotion. With so much attention, there aren't many opportunities. Haha, listen, Li Jian, you should seize it. I think because of this incident, if I were still working with Li Jian, or if I were Li Jian, I probably wouldn't do this action, this event, because for this event, for Li Jian, the benefits are too few and too much damage. In other words, the theme of this event is that don't use one dish in a restaurant. Rather than talking about your family life, you can use pre-made dishes to spread information. What's more important at home, there may be many solutions for pre-made dishes to choose from, but if you don't want to use them, you can actually go out to eat at a restaurant. This kind of information is more helpful to Li Jian. So at present, Li Jian said to spend $200,000 to collect restaurants without a freezing process. He may have indeed gained the traffic, however, but he didn't get the truly valuable content. So I think it may help. Does anyone know about it? Oh, who is he? Oh,信良记Li Jian knows about it, but it's limited. Professionally speaking, we don't advocate that. We only gain fame, but there is no content corresponding to it, or that the content is not the kind of spread I want. Generally, we won't act because it's a bit risky. It can't help. And this one is quite counterproductive. In the field of public opinion, it's not that you can help whoever you stand on. It is a technical job. Then Li Jian's expression, it must make Jia feel that it's still good. You see, we are buddies, right? Li Jian himself is thinking, look, I'm not bad either. By the way, I also want to change people's views on pre-cooked dishes. But in the case of Zibei, as long as the topic is on pre-cooked dishes, the stock price will definitely fall. This is a problem. It's not about who is on whose side. It can't be helped.